Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mandy. Today is November 10th, 2024. So which means I've been making Hanzi writing tutorial for 4 months in total. And it was a very good experience for me. I've gained 803 subscribers on this channel. So first of all, I want to say big thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you for supporting me, leaving your comments, hitting the like button. So during these 4 months, I've been trying to looking for words to describe the process of learning Hanzi. Yeah, I know, I'm a native Chinese. Like, how do you know? What does that feel? Yeah, I know how that feels because I learned to write Hanzi when I was a little kid. It's a little bit different from a foreigner's learning Hanzi, but I've been through that process of struggling. Yeah, learning Hanzi is never easy. I still remember when I was a little kid, I cried because of the overwhelming Hanzi homework every day. And it just feels like it never ends. I don't really blame people for giving up on Hanzi because it really takes a lot of courage. Yeah, when I was a little kid, I've given up on English for many times. I hate English when I was little. I hate conjugation. And I hate the fact that I have to study English, otherwise I will fail the English exam and my school life would be over. But you know, I'm a 200% typical Asian kid. So I knew I just have to keep it going until graduation. If I can use a word to describe my experience of learning English, I would say that's mental marathon. So yeah, this is exactly the words that can apply to Hanzi learning process. So I type in the questions on Google. I type what quality do you need to run marathon? And with some help from ChatGPT too. And here are some key qualities you need for running the marathon, which is also the quality you need to learn Hanzi. First one, endurance. Building cardiovascular and muscular endurance is crucial to sustain the effort over 26.2 miles. Yeah, so if you're going to run the marathon, you're going to train your cardio system. But if you're going to write a nice Hanzi, you're going to train your hand muscle. You have to get used to the structure of the Hanzi. To write English is pretty simple, right? From left to right. But to write Hanzi is just from top to bottom, from left to right, and sometimes it's from outside to inside, sometimes inside to outside. Second thing, discipline. Consistent training, following a structured training plan, and keep a balance between resting and practice. You should make a reasonable and suitable plan for your Hanzi learning. Not too difficult and not too easy to accomplish. For example, you can't learn 100 Hanzi in a day. Can't you? I mean, to memorize 100 Hanzi, you will be able to recognize it in different script, and you should be able to write it by hand, stroke by stroke, and you should be able to use it in a word or a sentence. So to learn 100 Hanzi in a day, that sounds like an impossible mission for me. Yeah, unless you're a genius. But to learn 10 Hanzi a day, that sounds more reasonable and that's a lot easier to accomplish. So to accomplish a goal every day can keep you going. If you fail, then this is quite discouraging. The third quality, mental toughness. The ability to push through the discomfort and mental barriers is crucial, especially in the later stage of the race. Starting the journey of learning Hanzi is really easy. You might be very energetic and enthusiastic and full of confidence in the very first 2 to 3 months of learning Hanzi. But after you pass that phase, you might feel very down or boring or just discouraged. But I think every language learner have that issue because you can't always be so hyped up when you're learning a language, right? You always have the ups and downs, ups and downs. So I think the most difficult part of learning a language is always keep it going. No matter how good you are today or how bad you are today, you just keep it going. And the fourth is motivation. A strong personal motivation or purpose can keep you going during tough training session and on a race day. So here's the question for you. Why are you learning Chinese? Are you learning Chinese so you can attend the school in China? Or to get a job in China? Or maybe to travel in China? Or just to learn Chinese so you can be able to read some Chinese book, to watch some Chinese TV drama without subtitles, or listen to some Chinese music without translation? Yeah, I think all of these can be very good motivation. There's no better or worse motivation. I think all of these are good motivation. But you just need to make sure that your motivation is good enough to keep you going. It's not to kill you. So when I was a little kid, my motivation of learning English is to get a good score in school. And I don't know what's the point of learning English, and I don't know what is English for. So yeah, that's why I hate it so much. I started to learn English since 9 years old until 20 years old. But during these 11 years, I couldn't speak English because I'm just learning English for the exam. I don't need to speak it to anybody. But things have changed a lot after my graduation because I need to use English in my work. So my motivation became I have to use English to communicate. So yeah, that really helped me a lot to improve my English. Enough of my story. Let me share with you a very inspiring story. At least it's very inspiring for me. So, a few years ago, I used to work in the Mandarin Training Center in Guangzhou for a short time. And in that training center, the oldest student was in his 80s. Yeah, 80s. And he just started to learn Hanzi in his 70s. Yeah, 70s. I don't even know I can live that long. And he's learning the hardcore way. He's learning Hanzi as well. Yeah. So he's learning this because he has Alzheimer's disease run in his family. And he's hoping that he could learn some Hanzi and Chinese to fight against the Alzheimer's disease. I think that is the coolest motivation ever. Because learning a new language can train your brain, right? It could just improve your brain level. He was an English speaker, so Chinese is a language that's very, very far away from his first language. He's learning Chinese because Chinese is so far away from what he learned. So that kind of helped him to open up and to build a new mindset. So he's hoping that could help him with the disease. I just been working in that training center for a very short time, so I didn't get a chance to know about him very well. I hope he's doing great and enjoy the Chinese learning process. The next quality you need for running a marathon, patience. Progress in marathon training can be gradual, and it's important to be patient and stay committed to the long-term process. Yeah, exactly. Hanzi learning can be very, very time-consuming. I don't know how many years you spent in learning Chinese and Hanzi, but for me, it's 12 years. So 6 years in the primary school for learning basic Hanzi, and another 6 years in the middle school to learn the advanced Hanzi and ancient literature. So 12 years in total for a native speaker. So I'm making this writing tutorial showing you how to write this, how to do that. That's because I've been through that 12 years. So If you keep it going for 12 years, I believe you can do the same. And the next thing you need for running a marathon is time management. Balancing training with other responsibilities requires good time management skills. Yeah, you need that time management skills for Hanzi training. It could be 10 minutes per day, half an hour per day. If you really like it, it could be 1 hour per day, 2 hours per day. It's all based on your needs. As long as you spend some time on it, it's better than nothing. The next quality you need, pain tolerance. Being able to tolerate and manage physical discomfort is necessary, but knowing when to address potential injuries is equally important. Yeah, I know, learning Hanzi can be painful. You have to do the same thing over and over again. This is boring and sometimes it could be painful. But just don't get yourself trapped into the complaining mindset, because complaining is not going to help you to improve. I've been complaining English through my entire school life, but that's not helping me at all. It's not helping me to get the A scored. But it just kind of helped me to become a grumpy schoolgirl. I'm not saying complaining is bad. You cannot complain at all. Well, I didn't say that. I think complaining is a good way to release your emotion, to release your pain. But just don't trap into the complaining. Like, you can complain, but you should move on. The move on is more important. So let's say you're really tired right now, you don't want to write any Hanzi anymore. You just take a break, like take a 2 days break, 1 week's break, 2 weeks break, and then come back later and just pick it up from where you left and continue. And if you're still feeling so bad, and then take another break, 1 month, 2 months, and then come back later and pick it up from where you left. In conclusion, training for marathon is a demanding yet rewarding endeavor that requires a blend of physical conditioning, mental resilience, and emotional commitment. Same as practicing Hanzi. And yeah, today's the topic is learning Hanzi is a mental marathon, but I think it's a little bit more than that. I think learning any new language can be a mental marathon. And here's my theory. First of all, my first language is Chinese. Okay, so I'm a Chinese and I'm gonna learn English. Let's say English is right here. And I am running from Chinese to English. This is my marathon. And if I'm going to learn Spanish, then I feel like Spanish is even further. If I'm gonna learn Spanish, and I'm learning right now, Spanish is right here. So I'm running my marathon to Spanish. Then if one day, let's say one day if I wanted to learn French, and French will be at the same distance as Spanish for me. Okay, that's quite far away. Okay, so this is my marathon. And as for you, my audience, I bet a lot of you are English speaker, so you just run from here to here, and this is your marathon. And if you're a Spanish speaker, then you just run from here to here. And if you're a French speaker, you run from here to here. So everyone is on their own marathon. So just consider me as your marathon running pal. I'm not a professor or an expert or a judge waiting for you at the destination. I'm just someone happens to be a native Chinese and got a teacher license. And sometimes I made up story to help you to memorize Hanzi. Disclaimer: I didn't make up the story out of nowhere. Okay, so I did my research, I learned some historical facts. So when the evolution process is too difficult to explain, I will add my understanding in it just to help you to remember the Hanzi, to understand the structure and stuff like that. You know, the evolution process of Hanzi was very, very long and sometimes can be very complicated. And even worse, some evolution remained an unsolved mystery. So, yeah, I hope my made-up story could help. Well, that's all I want to talk about in today's video. It's not very encouraging or discouraging. I'm just talking about my opinion of learning Hanzi. It's very difficult and could be painful, but it needs a lot of patience, and finally it will be rewarding. And everyone's on their marathon. Like right now I'm learning Spanish. That's also very painful for me, all the conjugation. So I hope you enjoy your marathon, and I will try to enjoy my marathon, and I will keep making a lot of Hanzi writing tutorial in this channel, and I hope all these videos will be helpful for you. And I'm Mandy. I will see you in the next video.